2 minutes. Just had the message from Shere Trek and Run. The shoes are in. The shoes are in, finally. The wait is over. The time has come. I'm on the way to Shere right now. Lonepeak 6 in wide test run. Unfortunately, way too windy to talk, so I had to take it home. Okay, so that was yesterday. Skip forward to today. I've just actually finished a really nice 20 kilometers on the trails, a bit of road too. Back in the Altra Lonepeak 6s in wide. That's test run number 3. Basically, I want to get this video out sort of kind of as quick as possible because I've kind of got a lot to say about the shoe, and I'm glad that I waited a couple of runs before I sort of even did my first impressions, because first impressions changed pretty quickly. So I'll get to all the good stuff later, but I want to first kind of pick apart. It's not really this bad, but it's kind of the weird stuff. First of all, in regards to the actual width of the shoe, whether it's wider, it's still tricky. The insole weirdly is narrower than the LP5 in the non-wide version. The base, the outsole seems almost exactly the same width. So in regards to whether it's wider, it feels more voluminous. There's definitely kind of more space up front in the toes. So therefore, I think there's just more material. There's more upper, let's say. The width is kind of the same, but it's the upper that's the difference. There's more volume, and I guess herein lies the problem, because with the upper being more spacious, more voluminous, which sounds weird because that sounds like a good thing, there's also the issue with the LP5 and the LP6. I think they're just a little bit too long. True to size, they're not really. I'd love to see what it's like to be in a size 10, because I've gone for the 10.5 again, and there's just a little bit too much, just too much space up front, which I didn't really notice with the LP5 that badly, but now with the extra volume, the extra space, there's quite a lot of space up front. And again, this is sounding weird because you would love to have space, but I think the problem is now cinching down a decent lockdown without causing pressure on the foot. So I've been playing around with the shoelaces and everything, and first run was kind of painful. Second run, I kind of almost got right, and now the third run, after stopping a couple of times, loosening things off a little bit. It feels good, softer, and more like the LP5. There's a little bit of slippage, but to be honest, after about an hour, your foot kind of swells up a little bit, and you're kind of grateful for that space. So it's not a negative, it's just something to take in mind. And I would, if you haven't got wide feet, don't go for the wide, because the Altra, it's not any wider, let's say, it's just more spacious. And just bear in mind that issue with the shoe being a little bit on the long side. A 10.5 should probably be a 10. Really, I should go for a 10. So I might try and see if I can get a hold of a cheap pair of LP5s in 10, just to sort of give that real contrast, see what it's like. But anyway, that's that for the negatives, or the not so good, or the bit of the weird stuff. But in regards to all the good stuff remains the same. The Ego midsole still is very, very nice, and there's definitely more of a bounce back from my old LP5s, because they were about 500 miles into them. The tread, it's nice to have a bit more traction now. They're never perfect, but it's just good to have the lugs fresh, because the grip is just much better. Downhill as well, especially. My LP5s just sort of gone. So the difference between the LP5 and the LP6 is going to be minimal. I would just take into account about that sort of half size. Maybe you might prefer that. Maybe you might want to go for a slightly longer shoe. But I don't know. I think with the LP6 in wide, with just a little bit too much length as well, it just feels a little bit on the sloppy side. But on the flip side, you can wear thicker socks. You can wear the nice thicker socks. You don't have to worry about that, and your feet will obviously be appreciative when they swell up after 2, 3 hours, 4 hours on the trails. So that's all good. So there we have it. So in summary of the LP6 in wide, so far, yep, great shoe. The midsole feels just the same. The grip, the outsole, the Max Track outsole feels very, you know, it's all fresh and new, so that all feels really good. And the comfort of the upper, I will get there. It's just a process of working out the best lacing system for the extra volume in the material up front in order to get a better lockdown totally, you know, throughout the whole shoe, because it's just not as locked down as the LP5 was. But that's all it is. I mean, I think there's obviously the same difference in the length, which they're both a little bit too long for me probably. One more thing I need to add is the drainage. It does look like it's going to have better drainage in the LP6. There's more drainage holes. But other than that, the shoes are very, very similar. Whether you need to go for the wide or not, I don't know whether I do. I'm not really feeling much more extra width, just more extra sort of material. So I will do a further review after sort of 50 miles and update you all on how the shoe feels and fits. But that's it. Right, thanks very much for watching. Hope that helps. And if you haven't already, please do click that like and subscribe button. If you have, then thank you very much. And I will see you soon. Right, off to get a booster. That way.